Okay, so Korea is on in an hour, I guess. So I guess I'll just play for an hour and then I'll be on. I mean, off. Oh my gosh, English. Thank you. Why do I let the ads play? Because I think he gets ad revenue, doesn't he? Like, it depends on how many, or it doesn't work that way, just like a flat rate. Okay, well, then never mind. I thought, like, he gets paid based on how many times the ads play, considering they want to do the same sub bullshit, so I figured it would be the same, right? So what I mean is, if Twitch is gonna pay you based on subscriptions, right? Then technically they should pay you based on how many times an ad plays, right? If you're saying that's fine, then that ad, how many times an ad plays, should technically be fine as well, right? Because if you say, oh yeah, you know, we're fine with the bullshit subscription thing, even though I'm pretty sure everybody knows 90% of it is fucking fake, and that's one of the main reasons why I did not want to stream on Twitch. Because I was like, if you really do the math, then technically Twitch is always going to be at a loss here, because it's like Twitch is continuously paying out more money than they're actually making, you know? Does that kind of make sense per subscription, you know? Like, because if each subscription is $4.99 and they're paying out the person like, so like, isn't Twitch going to start losing money? Like, it doesn't really make any sense, right? Like, let me find some paper. Whoever is in charge of the Twitch subscription and Twitch partnership should be fired, is my point. So that's kind of why I'm exposing this right now, because I think whoever that person is deserves to lose their job, because they're the ones who started this whole entire fraudulent idea, and is actually the one who brought in more people to commit the fraud, you know? Here, I'll explain it to you in like numbers sense, so it makes more sense and I don't sound like a fucking e-girl talking shit. Alright, so say Twitch subs are $4.99, right? Let's see. Well, I'm not fucking stupid. See, look, it's fucking still not working again. And I'm not even using that phone. You have jacks? If you guys are gonna tank it out, I'm just gonna play Sona. So revenue. Okay, so Twitch something 50. Yeah, but how is this calculated? Thank you. Get paid? Oops, I should probably flip this around, huh? You get paid $13 per subscription? So wouldn't Twitch be losing more money? What does that mean? I've already found this before. This isn't the first time I've done it. But considering how some people are hiding it, then I already know these websites. I just know you guys migrate a lot. And I don't know who the fuck you guys hate the most. Not like you guys can get rid of them. Who doesn't know my IP address? If you know my address, don't you know my IP address? Isn't that fucking... How the fuck do you guys not know that? You know someone's address, don't you know everything about them? So why the fuck, what, like, it doesn't even make any sense. Now people know exactly what site you are. What an idiot. So let's say a sub bot is like $5, right? Or like each sub is $5 and Twitch has to pay out like $2 or $3, right? But then nobody's really subbing anything and you're only paying like half price for everything. So like, doesn't that mean Twitch is paying you more than you're actually bringing in? Because nobody's actually subbing, they're just bots. So then that means Twitch is paying you thousands and thousands of dollars for nothing. So doesn't that mean whoever's signing your partnership is helping you commit fraud? I mean, I'm gonna get the actual numbers from your fucking site that everybody hates. Well, I don't think there's really anything you can offer, considering... What are you really gonna do? I don't understand. Well, if you mean you've been getting paid subscription bots for like $50,000, I've been getting paid $2 million for having Twitch subscription bots, then doesn't that mean you owe like Twitch $2 million? Well, Jordan Belfort went to jail because he could not pay the restitution to his victims. So does that mean you're gonna go to prison because you cannot pay for your restitution? Is that, like, I don't understand what your point is. I mean, you guys said you got a college degree, so you should be well aware that you're going to go to prison, right? So, I mean, if everybody else knows that you're gonna go to prison, then it doesn't really make sense why you don't understand it, right? With a college degree. Why would I be against Amazon sellers? I mean, no offense, Pokimane, but they might actually be your fan, you know? So, I mean, this is why I said, you know, I don't really want to teach you how to act because anybody and everyone can see what you do and say on the internet. So if someone decides they don't like your content, what are you gonna do? Be a Nazi and fucking force them to like your shit or put them in a concentration camp? Jesus. Not even China does that and they're communists. Thank you. Do I want to win? Honestly, I don't really give a fuck. It's up to you. I'm only playing one game, however the fuck it ends. See why I never get Q now? But then you're not doing any freaking damage, so like, what do you want me to do? You know, this guy's just really walking around like you guys are like, oh, he has so much attack damage, and it's like, honestly, he doesn't. He's just walking around a bunch and you guys think like he has a bunch of attack damage, like, he doesn't. Dude, I have a feeling this Nautilus is actually really good. I mean, I have proper support runes for once in my life, so... Why did I get proper, support runes? Shits and giggles. Why not? I'll do the damage for you because you don't have attack speed and you don't have autos. And all you have is a fucking blade and a boot. I mean, if I kept taking damage and my shield went down, then yeah, I'd take a lot of damage. But as long as he can clear it before my shield goes down, I think I'd be good. We're being high elo players, that's what we're doing. This is what they do in high elo. Whoa, I couldn't even heal. I couldn't even heal. So, well, I am building pretty properly. I'm not really building like mobility because Sona's range is really bad, you know, like this is all I got. This is not very good, and since Sona kind of needs one more auto, not just her Q, technically I'm pretty close range, you know? Like if you look at Jax or if you look at Fizz or any of that, like, you need to get pretty close to the enemy to be able to do a lot of damage, right? And Sona's kind of the same way, because, like, if I do this, if I just do this, like, it's not really a lot of damage until I hit it with my auto, right? So that's what I mean by, like, I can't, like, I don't understand scripts sometimes, because Sona is pretty close range for a AP or range champion, you know? Like, she has autos and stuff, but her abilities are still pretty close range. So, I mean, this is pretty far ranged, but we all know it's usually just fucking scripts, so I'm not gonna complain and bitch and moan all the time, every single time, you know? I'm just gonna be like, well, Sona is already pretty close ranged, so, I mean, for you to keep on scripting, then it just kind of shows how bad of a player you are, not really like how bad of a player I am, you know? Do I think Pantheon's? No, I don't think Pantheon's rework is very good, but then again, I don't really like Akali's rework. So, that's not really like a Christine question that you can ask. I told you Sona is close range, so why would you get closer to me? Wouldn't you want to try and bounce yourself further away from me? Like, if Ziggs used his thing to jump farther than me, then yes, I would have no way to get there, because first of all, I don't really have mobility, and my E is obviously not maxed out, so the cooldown's gonna be a fucking sucks. So if that guy could just bounce further, right? Or have kept their distance, but then you can't really say that when they're trying to push, because that wouldn't make any sense. You're like, keep your distance but also push, like what? That doesn't make any sense. So obviously the only person that could have gotten away from that fight was probably Ziggs, you know, if he put the bomb on himself to jump or like push, whatever the fuck that thing's called, okay? And then gotten out of my range, because my range is not actually that far. And for me to actually do damage is not just to press Q, like I have to auto U as well. Right? So if you bounced out, you wouldn't have died. Because I cannot double auto you and double Q you when I don't even have the cooldown to double Q you, right? So not really sure how that's me scripting or just you not knowing how to play your champion. I don't really like to say pushing too hard, because that doesn't really make any sense. Like, how are they supposed to play the game if they don't push, you know? Well, now you're just using minion block because you can't get me. I actually wanted to clear the minion wave. Well, killing you is a huge gamble, and I don't gamble. So I would never ever go in for the kill, because it doesn't really make any sense. That's on you, man. So does that kind of make sense? Like, I don't really like to go in for kills, because there's always that chance that either you're out of range or too far, or I don't have enough damage. So naturally, I would just never go in for kills, because I don't have, like, I don't have enough support. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a good ADC, or if I had enough gold, or if I had help, thank you, then of course I would be, like, confident that I would get a kill, and of course I would push you even harder, but I don't know if my ADC is good. I don't know if my jungler is gonna come. I don't know if, like, there's no way I would push to kill you, because I don't know any of these people. Like, number one rule in solo queue, thank you, no matter who the fuck you watch, except unless you're an e-girl, or an e-girl guy. Otherwise, you would never be expecting people to do anything for you. Like, there's a difference between I am a challenger and nobody can play their role, versus I am iron and nobody can play their role. Like, if I'm iron and nobody can play their role, it's kind of like, well, shit, you're an iron, like, what you expect. Does that kind of make sense? But if I'm in challenger and you're in challenger and you don't know what I know, I mean, it's a little hard to understand that, right? No, that's why I said you gotta... I mean, I would prefer they be shadow banned, but then they don't want to be shadow banned, so I'm like, well, then I guess I'm just gonna have to do this. Right? Yeah, but I like playing with you. I like to understand how your fucking brain works. You're very entertaining. Is this our teammate? No, it's not. Who's our jungler? Jax? You know, it's funny because I think Jax can still come back from a 2-2-2. I don't want to troll with Jax for a little bit. Just like kind of let them push. I mean, if Riot ever wants to understand why the fuck I never build full AP runes, you can explain to me why the fuck I still don't have any mana when I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this. You guys keep fucking asking me, oh, Christine, why don't you ever build fucking mana runes? Oh, fucking, I don't know. Tell me why the fuck I'm still not getting any fucking mana. Care to explain that, Riot? Because I don't fucking understand. I did everything you fucking told me to do. I'm playing exactly by all your fucking rules, and I still don't have any fucking mana. So don't ever fucking ask me why I'm going attack speed Sona when you can't even fucking fix this. I'm going top. Well, I'm playing by your rules, right? You said build AP, build resolve, and I did. So, like, what the fuck am I doing wrong here? Like, did you want me to build anything else? Because these two are the most fucking supported runes with mana and fucking shit, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? This is exactly what you fucking wanted me to do. I'm following your fucking rules, and what the fuck am I getting? Nothing. I'm still fucking running out of mana. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm literally tweeting the FBI saying I am not breaking federal copyright laws, and yet I still don't have mana. So, you fucking tell me what the fuck is going on here. Well, someone wanted to sue Foxconn for royalties. So, who's the goddamn retard who did that? Well, you're not really playing by the rules, right? So it's kind of like, if the community wants to let you win, then they're gonna let you win, right? But if they don't want to fucking help you, then, I mean, you can't really ask. You cannot ask Riot, and you cannot ask the FBI for help. You already said that you're part of the community and you're better than everyone because of that. So I don't know why the fuck you're still constantly blaming the government. I am totally in the wrong chat for this. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm mostly just talking about the game. I'm not, like, trying to hang out with them. I'm just seeing it. Can you fucking read that out for me? What is that called? It's a mana flow ban, right? So if I'm gonna get the same amount of mana as I do building attack speed runes, then why the fuck do I bother building support runes at all? Care to explain, right? Because I'm pretty sure New001 can explain it, but since you want to say his ideas are fucking shit, why don't you fucking explain to me why the fuck it's not working then? Since you're such a fucking better programmer than him, and you deserve his fucking position, So can you fucking explain to me why the fuck you deserve his fucking position when you don't even fucking know how to fix this? So maybe in my eyes, and in the eyes of I'm pretty sure a lot of gamers, because we're all goddamn savages, we would consider you probably needing to be fired, right? But I personally know that's not human resources protocols. But I also know if enough customers complain, you will get fired, because that is how a business is ran, right? Why is this racist manager doing this? Why is this manager fucking racist? I don't ever want to go to your restaurant ever again because this guy was fucking racist to me. I don't have any mana, so... But yeah, like I was saying, you know how a lot of restaurants, they go, hey, why is this guy so racist? You know, this guy was racist, this manager was racist, this guy refused, this waitress refused to do... You know, if those places get fired, and they fire their manager, they fire their CEO, they fire, you know, they boycott all those businesses, then, I mean, I guess technically we can do that as gamers too. You refuse to fix this because I'm Asian? That sounds so racist! I can play that. And it's funny, because actually a lot of other male gamers actually has that, whereas, like, I mean, I guess they know I'm this race, so they won't fix it, you know? Or they'll be like, what Keemstar has been saying, thank you, is, I guess because we're men, they're refusing to fix these things, and will only fix it if I'm a woman. And it's funny, because they're like, well, I guess we're just not gonna buy it then. And, you know, no, it doesn't really hurt me, because, I mean, considering how they're my family connections, technically, I guess I could get them fired, right? Because I could be like, well, you know, they're encouraging people to boycott the company, so technically, shouldn't they be fired since they're not working for the company? Maybe they're working and selling trade secrets, who the fuck knows? Maybe that's why they want, like, Riot to not do well. There's a lot of things a lot of people can say. Do I want to win? Dude, I'm fucking leaving after this. It's up to you guys what you want to do. If I'm leaving, I don't really have any requests. Considering how I have no mana with these runes, I don't think you have any right to talk. Okay, so every single mid laner has helped me, and they're just like, bro, like, if I'm gonna help you, can you please, for the love of God, stop taking my gold? And I'm just like, alright. I'm sorry. So, like, every time my mid laner helps me, I'm just like, alright, I'll try my best not to take your gold. If my dad is the director of Foxconn, why would I give you the opportunity to falsely accuse my dad of bad engineering abilities when it's really just you hacking the fuck out of it? Did you ever consider that? Does that kind of make sense? Like, okay, so if my dad is the director of Foxconn and he was in charge of making iPhones, then why would I give you the opportunity to say my dad's engineering is bad by planting false bugs in your jailbroken phone and then typing online that this jailbroken phone, delete, not jailbroken, iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, why would I give you that opportunity instead of having this perfect image of never doing anything against the rules, so I can be like, well, if that's not happening to me, then, like, what are you using? Because it's not really happening to me. So, like, and that's why I always ask people not to help me, because they could be like, well, you're a girl, so they're helping you because you're a girl. And I'm just like, you guys, please stop helping me. because then I can't win this argument. There's a lot of people that are cryptocurrency enthusiasts that use cryptocurrency to buy stocks, so I'm not really the only person that relies on stocks at this moment. Well, I mean, since people stopped giving salary job people stock options, we know for sure it is not people with a salary job because they don't have the option to have stocks. So it's definitely just cryptocurrency enthusiasts or old people like me. Well, you don't see me doing that to you, so. I don't even think they're in the tech department. I think they're in like the business or human resources department, which is not, I mean, stock market, yeah, so it's like really not that. I maxed out E? Oh hell yeah, dude. We were just gonna roam around, run around, and heal. That was the plan. Cause you guys are all freaking tank! See what I mean? That's why I was like, okay, I guess we should play Sona. Cause I was like, you guys are probably just gonna roam around and like, just do really dumb stuff. So I was just like, alright, I got this. I got you guys. Whatever brilliant ideas you guys got, I'm down. Thank you. Oh, I have flash. That don't need my help. What the fuck are we doing? Dude, there's a reason why I maxed out E first. This was the reason why I did it. Riot took away my E though, so I'm sorry I can't boost you. Dude, Ziggs can't figure it out. And it's hilarious. Oh, can't heal you. See how you can't figure it out? I think it's hilarious. You should ult somebody. Why am I like this? Dude, I got this thing just for this. The thing, the cloak, the pink blue item. I don't know what it is, but it's the pink blue item. Oh yeah, sorry. Why would I do that? Do what? Why would I stand in it? Because I've noticed Riot has this thing where like if you work as a team and you take the damage as a team, sometimes as a team or as one person or overall or whatever, you actually take less damage. It's kind of weird in my eyes because it doesn't really make sense why I would take less damage. But I mean, I guess, yeah, exactly. I guess it's a teamwork buff. I personally don't really understand it because I don't think, like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Oh, three. Two or three, I can't tell. I think it's like two or... Zed is like full damage or something? Like he has like no health. I can only ward 3. Anyone else enjoy losing games? Like, why are losing games so much more intense than like winning games? Okay, fuck it. I guess I don't need the plants. What? I just kind of roll with the punches or something? The white people thing? There's no such thing as roll with the punches in Chinese, you guys. That's why I said it's a white people thing. How about I'm not Mexican. You guys are gonna have to ask them for that. I don't know what the Mexicans be doing. Who didn't see that coming? Cooldown in mana? This is cooldown in mana? I don't really need any more AP. I'm not here. Oh yeah, I forgot I don't have any heal. I just thought I'd tell you now. By the way. Why don't I ever get healed? Because I think it's completely useless and it doesn't help the team. I feel like it would be much better for us to just run away. No, that was my fault. Kept pressing the wrong button. No, I don't give you the attack speed buff anymore. I mean, I can show you, but... No, I can... See. You just need the shield. Oh, Narcissus! Oh, that was an intense game. I feel like you guys are like, I don't really want to say smurfing, but I definitely don't think you belong in Iron. That's all I gotta say. How can I tell? Because you guys push really hard. Usually people like me who belong in Iron actually don't push that hard. So I think that's how you kind of know that they're higher elo players. Because usually higher elo players, it's not objective wise, it's they know their champion. They know their champion, lane, items, masteries. It's just like the high elo players know so much about the game that they don't really feel a fear of pushing. You know what I mean? Because they know so many different things. Like, I think Reckless was saying this the other day where he said, you should probably never push past the river or something without a ward, or it's hard to push past the river without a ward when you're in bot lane because you don't know if there's going to be a gank coming or something like that. So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of why sometimes, you know, higher elo players, they will always like ward in certain places and then their ADC would push really hard. Or like, I think when it comes to like Crepo, he has a lot of map awareness, so then I don't really know how Healy plays, but I'm just saying, like, usually high elo players who are like legitimate, not just boosted, like they'll do certain things to make sure that they can push and they don't need to rely on somebody else. kind of to like, you know what I mean? That's why high elo players are praised for their solo queue abilities, because they know how to, except I think the whole like donkey balance thing is kind of like nerfing that. So maybe before it was possible, but I think in the last few patches it's kind of not been working that well, you know, like the whole 1v5 thing. Like maybe not in recent patches, but definitely in the older patches. Like I think before the Orianna nerf, I was actually able, oh yeah, I forgot to tweet it, huh? Sorry. Thank you for letting me know. But anyways, I'm about to end it. So I know for Orianna at least, like I used to be able to 1v5, thank you. And I could no longer do that after a few seasons, because I think they changed something about Orianna where like I could not do it anymore. So that's kind of why I believe like a lot of people were not scripting, because I'm like, dude, if I can 1v5 Orianna, like I don't think it would be that hard for you guys to 1v5 other champions. So no, I did talk to Riot about this once. Like, not all Riot employees are the same. That's kind of the problem here. So I think the Riot employee that I talked to actually knows how to write for bots, you know? So they were like saying how there is no Azir bot and there is no Orianna bot, because there's so much like so many different possibilities, thank you, of their Q or something like that. Like they have so many different movements that making a bot is just unrealistic. So they just don't bother doing it. So well, yeah, if you mean like Azir and Orianna being more into pro than a lot of the basic intro bots, then yeah, definitely. That's kind of the main reason why pro players don't like to play a lot of the intro bot champions in pro play. So thank you. So back to the Twitch thing that we were, oh my god, this thing's still open. Dude, I'm about to end this. I really like this Mixer alert thing where it tells you like, oh yeah, it's open, or like, no, it could be, well, actually, what is RAM for? Honestly, I don't know. Like, if I have really good memory and if I have a decent CPU, like, I don't understand the point of a RAM. The last time I needed a RAM, thank you, was because my barebone PC would not run unless I had the proper RAM. So, I mean, I guess it goes in incorporation of your CPU and your GPU, like it has to be in perfect harmony, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so Twitch subscription bots. Subscriber bots? Dude, how old is this? A year old? Fortnite bot, subscription bot, Fortnite skin. Okay, here is perfect. I don't actually need any type of link. I just needed the prices. Okay, so I don't care what your name is, I just need prices. Okay, so let me see. So 0.5 for first time bots. Partnership. I'm not gonna save this because it's just gonna keep migrating, so I'm not gonna try and track anybody down. Anyways, obviously I'm fully aware of this, so I refuse to use Twitch, much less become a partner, because this is pretty much technically fraud. And for you to threaten a criminal when they probably don't have a salary job because of people like you, it's kind of like, well, thanks to your systematic oppression through elitist and classist methods, I mean, for you to say, oh yeah, they're not allowed to do this, well, what the fuck are they allowed to do? You made sure that they will never be able to go to Stanford, so like, what in the fuck can they fucking do, right? Obviously I can talk like that, but they're not gonna fucking understand. Okay, it's not gonna take me a lot to say it, okay? I've already fucking went through a whole entire Maslow's hierarchy of needs yesterday. I don't need it. It's not that hard. Okay, he's Korean. It's not gonna work. Thank you. Alright. So, there's the Twitch fucking... sure, whatever. Interesting. I agree. What the fuck is net 15? I mean, for this person, whoever works for Twitch, to just be pretending like this is not illegal is pretty much a problem. And that is actually, thank you, one of the main reasons why the FBI does not really does not really charge, thank you, a lot of the smaller petty theft criminals, because they feel like the actual problem is not these thieves, it's the person leading them that is the problem. You know, like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, everybody who worked for Griselda Blanco was in trouble. It was more like Griselda Blanco herself was the one who's the problem. Does that kind of make sense? And that's why I'm like, you know, it's not really fair to like blame everybody else that's part of the program, because I don't think anybody thinks about this that far. Like, unless you're a manager or a CEO, like, this would not really matter to you, because it's not really like, you know what I mean? Your job is to just come up with better ideas, so that's not really your job. But if you're like the manager of partnership or the manager of like this, then like, I would think you understand this, or else you would probably not be in that role, right? If I was the CEO of Apple and you asked me, hey, so what are you guys gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know. Would you respect me as a CEO? You would be like, well, if Christine doesn't know anything, how the fuck is how is she the fucking CEO? Anybody can be the CEO then, right? So, I mean, it's really just gonna fall back on whoever's in charge of this specific program. Because all the other people are not gonna get in as much trouble as the person who's leading it. Do I think Griselda Blanco even was, okay, so Griselda Blanco was a prostitute, right? And she did not want to be a prostitute anymore, so she started to sell cocaine. That's kind of what I'm saying here. Like, what if these guys are drug dealers and they're like, well, I don't really want to sell drugs anymore. Like, I'd much rather just sell subs. That's understandable, right? It's the same thing as Griselda Blanco being like, I don't want to suck any more dick. I'd much rather just sell you cocaine. Makes sense, right? So, no, what I'm talking about is systematic oppression, where like a lot of people are like, well, because I'm black, you're not gonna give me an aid to the class. Which is, you know. So, well, you guys are kind of doing that too with the whole China thing, right? Because you're like, well, you know, since it's made in China, I don't really want to buy it. But if it's made by Apple and white people, then I want to buy it. That sounds racist to me. So what's the difference between systematic oppression and if this company is not made by white people, I don't want to buy it? Well, if you're not white, you cannot go to college. Same concept, right? So, well, it's money over bitches, so I'm not really understanding what the problem is here, considering all the stuff you guys been saying. Anyways, so big order first time without token chat. What the fuck is token chat? I hope this is dollars and not just like in. Okay, yeah, so it is in dollars. No, because I didn't want this to be like in like some kind of token thing where it's like 0.50 token. Stop. Rufus. Is this Twitch bot? No, chat token. This is Twitch, right? Yeah, Twitch Prime subs. Okay, yeah. So thank you. So where did that thing go? Twitch Prime and revenue. Twitch partnership revenue. Oh, I can't spell. How much do streamers make? No, I don't want to fucking read any of your fucking sites. I want to read Twitch's sites. I don't want to pull shit. Like, does that kind of make sense? Like, okay, say I go to influencer moment marketing, influence marketing. Who the fuck wrote this? All right, I don't want to use your website because legally I would have to blame it back onto you. You know, I would be like, hey, it's this person. You know, this person's the person who told me everything. So like, technically, I'm not liable here. You are. You know, and I don't want to drag you into this problem kind of thing, where it's kind of like, if this has nothing to you, why do I have to drag you into it? Why don't I just go to Twitch and be like, well, why the fuck did you write this then? Like, why do I have to blame it on Twitch influencer marketing hub? Like, why do I have to drag you into my personal problems? Why don't I just fucking go to Twitch, right? No, I'm the whole like Instagram thing is kind of mocking the whole like Zoe Quinn freelance shocks freelance bullshit all around esports, you know? You know how they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a freelance writer, I'm a freelance this, I'm a freelance that. How come I don't get a fucking job?" Like that doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of mocking that like fake bullshit kind of thing where they're like, "Yeah, well, I'm like a freelance artist and it doesn't make sense why you don't support me." And I'm like, I am literally trying to support you, but you're pretty much saying that I don't want to help you. So, I mean, at that point, it's not really like me not giving you a job, right? It's that you don't want the job. So, I mean, yeah, of course, I can go to UPS, I can go to Foothill, I can go to eBay, I can ask my uncle, there's tons of different ways I can do this. I just thought because you're a freelance artist, I should probably help you out because all the girls in esports talking all this shit like, oh, it doesn't make sense. I'm freelance. Nobody helps me. So, like, sounds like bullshit now, doesn't it? Anyway, so back onto this. Well, first of all, I don't really want useless motherfucker. Like, any kind of useless freelance people who have no art skills and no art capability skills, like, why would I even want to be your friend? Like, I don't even want your nudes. That's the whole, like, Kesha thing, right? Remember Kesha? Sleeping with music executive? No. Raped by music executive or something like that? So, like, I mean, I'm not really Dr. Luke. Like, I don't need to fuck you in the pussy. Okay? So, like, even if you wanted me to have sex with you, like, I don't want to have sex with you. Does that kind of make sense? So, like, for you to say, oh yeah, well, I'm not gonna be your friend, well, first of all, I don't want to get AIDS. So, I already don't need you in my life. Right? And I'm not really into, like, celebrity orgies, where it's like, you know, I already fucked him, I know his dick size, you know, like, I also know this other pro player, and we've all had an orgy once, you know? We went to, like, PAX West, and we all had a fucking orgy. Like, why would I want to be involved in that when I'm here to try and make money? If I wanted to make money here as a prostitute, then I would probably ask the girls in Vegas that are in esports, right? Because they probably have better lawyers if you were to try and snitch on me, right? So, I mean, for you to think that I need you is kind of crazy. You know, I don't want this whole Kesha sues producer Dr. Luke for sexual assault and battery. I don't really need that in my life. But thank you for your offer. Ooh, yes, let's go to TechCrunch, because I know there was a lot of Gamergate stuff about, like, journalists and all this shit, so. Alright. Even if you're not, it doesn't really matter, because then I'll be like, what? It's wrong for them to report on this? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know? Oh. Anyways, like I was saying, Twitch now has 27k partners and 100... Okay, where the fuck is the money? I don't really like to use Medium. I've said this before. I said the only thing that's legitimate is pretty much donations. Everything else is rigged. And Twitch is paying out way more than they're making. He's a pro player. I want to see this. Oh no, dude, IamCutiePie gets so many fucking donations because everybody fucking loves him. Like, I feel like these, like, there's nothing wrong with donations, it's the subscriptions. I don't know who the fuck this is. He didn't even want to pay $1 billion. Smart guy. We would refuse that $1 billion valuation because we don't actually believe that that's actually the value of your company. What the fuck am I watching? Okay, so $1 to $2.50, so they earn like 50. No, can earn up 60, 40, 30, $3 per. They can earn up to $3. Okay, that's way more than 50%. Oh yeah, so what I was saying about this was, if they're gonna start botting the sub bots, then that means the ad revenue is going to be equally as rigged. Does that kind of make sense? Except, if you know anything about Wikipedia and all those other stuff, I mean, personally, I don't, you know, so that's why I said, I mean, if I'm running the ads, oh no, sorry, good point. If Twitch is actually trying to purposely hack into my app and purposely keep reloading, you know, certain things to the point where it purposely force runs my app to run more ads, then, I mean, that's kind of scamming the company that's paying for the ads, right? Because technically it should have only ran once, but because Twitch is adding all these bugs, now the company has to, you know what I mean? Like, not even Wikipedia does that, which is funny because apparently Wikipedia is like a huge fucking criminal and not even they're doing it. So, like, to say that Twitch is better because they force run ads so the company has to pay more, like, it doesn't. Alright, anyways. Twitch is a goddamn mess, that's all I gotta say. And if you do the actual numbers, okay, 40 subs, 20. Honestly, this is like, I can't even do this math, dude. Hot offer. Oh, this is so smart. It's not my fault if your channel gets banned. And you advertise to people who have this service, or you get banned because you do not really do live streamers. What? You do not really do live streamers and actually do a video that runs in loop? What? That is just bad English. It's not my fault. If you what do I think this means? Um if you do not really do live streamers and oh, I know what you're doing. Oh yeah, I see that's what I mean. Like and you know what the worst part is? People like you selling these services will not actually be the person who's in trouble. Does that kind of make sense? Especially when I'm saying like you guys are systematically oppressing certain people. Like I think you'd be good. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it's bad. Because whoever is running the partnership program, whoever the fuck is the manager for this, should have caught it and should have told their people, like, hey, you know, we're noticing this problem. Can you guys kind of be on your toes about this? You know, like, that's kind of your job as a manager, right? You're supposed to be on top of this. That's kind of why I was saying they should probably fire those right employees because if you're a Twitch support person and you're like, well, I've gotten this report from this person, but since they're my friend, I'm just gonna ignore it. Then that's kind of where it becomes like, well, considering all the Twitch partnership stuff is slightly, most likely, a lot really rigged. It doesn't really matter, and we already know that's a problem. We also know Twitch support itself is also not really the problem because hypothetically, if you think about it, if my family is watching this, and if I do have family friends in Twitch support, it's actually a really fucking good thing. And if it's not my family and it's just people who really care about me, either way, like, there's nothing wrong with Twitch support. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I don't see my ban as a bad thing. I see my ban as a warning because you guys know more about this. And that's why I'm going pretty fucking hard right now. Because I'm like, it doesn't really fucking matter to me because I'm already fucking permanently banned, right? Doesn't suck for me, doesn't matter for me, right? Anyways. Well, you said I was against the rich people, but yet you're not even as rich as Jeff Bezos. So, like, how am I, like, that doesn't really make any sense. You say, I hate rich people, but yet you're the one using your friends to scam Jeff Bezos right now. So, when you tell me you're rich, but you don't want to help Amazon, I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't even make any sense. The fuck is Global 2000? That was like 2009 or something. Ow, that hurt. City, Microsoft, Exxon. No, it's so close in my fucking face that I like. What is Alphabet? Let's see, what the fuck is Alphabet? I'm so curious. Hold on, we're getting fucking distracted here. Not really, that doesn't. Oh, it's Waymo. I know what this is. It's actually it's not liquidating anything, and it's not like a Swedish. I mean, sorry, Swiss bank account. Sorry, Taiwan, Thailand. Fuck off. All right. Anyways, so this isn't really that bad because now instead of Google, here, how do I say this? It's hard for me to do this because there's not really any specific numbers, and like this person knows what he's fucking doing though. So like, I like this guy obviously knows math if he knows this. So there's no point in calculating this because he already did perfect enough math that like, does that kind of make sense? I mean, you can still do the math, but you're just wasting your time at that point. If this guy is already fully aware that it is not my fault your channel gets a ban and you advertise to people who have this service, or you get banned because you do not really do live streams, like, this guy knows a lot. There's no way his math is gonna be off. So I mean, if you want to challenge him, by all means try and do the math, but I'm good. I'm not going to waste my time. And since I'm already doing this, I can just call it fraud. Does that kind of make sense? I have so many different things that, like, I mean, I can keep searching and I'm gonna fucking find you. Like, it's not that difficult. Does that make sense? And it's not gonna change anything. Like, you're still committing fraud. Whether you want to admit it or not, you are. So, I mean, what? I said the donations. Didn't I say this? I fucking said this like a billion times. I said, if a person keeps donating to you and you don't get any subscriptions, it makes sense because Twitch, I mean, if Twitch just kept running ads, it would have been fine. But that's not what's going on, you know? Alright, so Alphabet, it's good because if you look at this, I don't want to use my pen. It's too precious. Precious. Alright, so this is, what is this? This is Google. So instead of like having every single person like underneath like this kind of thing, instead of, oh shit, my thing is left and back, left backwards. Oh shit. I do not know. Oh, that's upside down. What does this have to do with this? You'll understand. Okay, so you see how it's Google and like this, right? So now that it's separated into, it's Google and then Alphabet and then now it's like this. So this is no longer what it is. So this is what it is now. So that means it's owned by Google, right? So Google has to go through Alphabet, and then Alphabet goes through all these independent little subsidiaries right here. And then each one of these subsidiaries, they will have like... Does that kind of make sense? And they'll have their own managers and their own managers and so on and so forth. So that's kind of why Alphabet is not really like siphoning or whatever you're thinking about, because it's no longer just Apple, you know, like Boston Dynamics is probably somewhere over here. Is Boston Dynamics part of Alphabet or is it another thing on its own? Yeah, see, in 2017, Alphabet sold, so technically it used to be right here. Does that kind of make sense? So it would be Google, Alphabet, and then Boston Dynamics. So that's why Boston Dynamics was never really involved in a lot of the, wait, where is Android? No, this relates to why Twitch is having such a problem. Okay, so Android is a separate thing? No. Okay, making something the head of following the color. Alphabet's Google. That's Google. So I'm guessing it is. Oh god, I can't spell. Okay, so I'm guessing this is what happened. And now that Android, now that Boston Dynamics is like on its own, can you kind of see why Android being part of Google can you kind of see why Android is having a problem because they're still part of Google? But then because Boston Dynamics is all by itself now, can you kind of see like how in a management situation why Alphabet is very beneficial? Kind of, you know what I mean? Because if you think about it, there could still be like there could still be Google investors. So that means Boston Dynamics is probably still like 10% control. Does that kind of make sense? So they Google investors could still be in 10% control of Boston Dynamics. But since Android has do you guys see the problem here now? So I think that's why Alphabet is on here because it's literally made up of all of these things. Does that kind of make sense? And exactly, because Alphabet still owns 10% of Boston Dynamics. But just because you're an investor does not mean you control and do the operations. It means do I still give you funding? It's not like, oh yeah, I don't want you to make this fucking robot. That's no, I don't know where the fuck you guys got that idea from. It might be all this fucking I don't know what's going on, but next question. Intel has more money than Amazon, really? I thought Amazon was where the fuck did Amazon? What am I looking at? Oh, it's global company. Yeah, Amazon should be like an American company, actually. Apple is only winning because of, well, actually, I don't really know what the fuck they're winning for. I feel like Apple can't get their shit together, they're gonna crash very soon. Why? No new products. Copyright is not an international problem. Copyright is an American problem, and if Chase is an international bank and is probably one of the richest banks in the world, I mean, Apple, Chase, big difference there. What is Amazon the best of? I don't understand. Richest company in the world? Didn't I already write that? You know what? Let's just go with this. This is completely 100% inaccurate. Yeah, this isn't even written by Forbes or anything. So, well, we just literally went there. Yeah, how do I even skip this? Can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, I hate Forbes sometimes. How about Bloomberg? They don't do this. Largest public companies 2000. But, oh my god. Okay, retail giants far behind in number 13. Duh. Alright, so Amazon is 13 and Microsoft is above, Citigroup. Apple is third. I don't think it's very weird because they triple and double the price of everything. But considering how nobody with the influence of the internet is going to buy it, well, actually, it might actually help because there's more and more middle class. Nobody's really gonna buy it. I think Intel's gonna get more and more. Intel's gonna get better and better. Because if you're saying rich Chinese people are getting richer and richer, then they're gonna buy more and more Intel because AMD is more of the bare bone type of thing. And if people in China have more and more money, and since Intel and Foxconn are still working together, Chinese people are definitely going to buy more Intel. So I don't know if they're gonna buy Apple because there's a lot of racism thing going on, and if they're rich, they're not gonna, But if Apple keeps their Foxconn, then everything should be fine. But the whole Microsoft thing, I think it would be actually kind of questionable because I, for one, have never paid for Microsoft Word. So I don't know where the fuck they're getting this money from, but yeah, I don't think any startups in America, no, yeah, I don't think any startups would be really running on Microsoft because I don't really believe in Microsoft being that secure for people to be using. Does that kind of make sense? Like, if you have like a cryptocurrency and like startup, like I would probably not use Microsoft just because of like the vulnerabilities of the system. Um, so I don't think Microsoft is going to be doing very well in years to come because cryptocurrency is becoming such a big thing that I don't think. No. Okay, so Amazon is going to keep going up. Does that make sense? Because it's not like Microsoft where it's going to be vulnerable to anything. Does that kind of make sense? Because it will be more based on like individual sellers. Whereas Microsoft, you sell the same program to everyone, and as cryptocurrency enthusiasts, like, I just don't think they would be really using Microsoft, and in that case, that means a lot of other people are not going to be using it. So eventually, it's going to lose like. So that's why I'm saying Microsoft is not going to last as long as Amazon, because Amazon is kind of like a lot of people stopped selling on eBay because Amazon was like, if I can sell it for like $5 instead of $2, why would I sell it for $2? Like, you can get the same thing on eBay for half off. Why do I have to earn like less than that on? Does that kind of make sense? That's why Amazon's going to keep getting better and better, because it's like more and more people are going to be like, well, I don't want to sell it so cheap if I can get double this price. So Amazon's going to keep getting better. I just don't think Microsoft is going to do very well because cryptocurrency enthusiasts, security and all of that, I just don't think they're going to buy into that whole Microsoft thing. Like, I don't think, no, because if every single person is using the same fucking system, how is that safe? Like, I don't think that's safe. And like, if they're gonna be cryptocurrency enthusiasts, they already know how all these things work. Like, if they can farm for bitcoins and then turn it into crypto, like, I just don't think Microsoft is gonna be successful in the future. Like, when there's more and more startups using cryptocurrency, like, I don't think they're gonna find Microsoft very secure and a good idea for their like overall servers or like office computer. You know what I mean? Like, because that's how Microsoft has been making their money, is because it's like the office computer and the office software to be using. But most of these startups, most of these companies that are coming up are not like, they're not just like a furniture shop buying an office full of like people, like, these are very knowledgeable individuals who know a lot about technology and a lot about security, and if I even think Microsoft is unsafe, like, I can just imagine what they think. So, I mean, if anything, they'll probably just buy, like, the cheapest version of Microsoft, or just not even use Microsoft and use, like, Linux or whatever. Yeah, Linux or whatever, and then spend, like, probably, like, 50% of their profit on internet security, or hiring, like, internet security individuals, or, like, paying most of that money to make sure, instead of spending the majority of their money on Microsoft software. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure, like, eventually, if there's, like, a monopolistic type of, like, internet security or computer security, they will eventually start coming up and higher, you know? But, I mean, McAfee kind of fell off there, so maybe not them. Yeah, I don't know. Well, if you look at the banking, it's kind of like security, where, like, it really changes generation to generation. Like, if you look at Johnson and Johnson, I think they were really good, and then it kind of switched leadership, and then it went bad. And then there's a lot of these banking companies that have gone bankrupt in recent years because, yeah, exactly, the kids grew up and it is just not good. So, I mean, I feel like internet security might have that same problem. What does this have to do with Amazon? So, a lot of this stuff has to do with management and who's in control of the company, right? So, in terms of Twitch, whoever is in control of this partnership thing is going to pretty much be the end of it, you know? I think Amazon's thing is pretty false proof, whatever it's called, because it's not really relying on himself. Here, I'll draw it for you guys, okay? So technically the Amazon model is not even just him. He is not the leader at all. It's individual sellers. And then from those sellers, you have customers. Right? And then from those customers, you have legal policies. So this will never, ever, ever get back to Amazon. Does that kind of make sense? This is Amazon right here. There's individual sellers right here. These are the customers, and then there's legal policies. You see how after the legal policies, none of this will ever go back to Amazon? Do you guys kind of understand now? And Twitch does not have this kind of system at all. Like, it's going to die. I bought these Sharpies just for classes like this. Alright, anyways. No, if I can teach little kids, I can teach adults. Why? Because there's a lot of things, like, I was trying to teach a kid how to swim this one time. I was like, you cannot put your head underneath the water because of gravity. And water is gonna pull towards the earth. I literally tried to tell this to the kid. And I was like, because there's gravity, it's not, you're, like, no matter what, your nose will have water go in because your head is upside down in the water and the earth has this core and the gravity is gonna pull you towards the earth. And I was like, and the kid kind of stared at me. He's like, what is gravity? I'm like, high school, don't worry. But just know it's not gonna work. I'm gonna tell you and you can remember it, but just know as long as you do this, it's never gonna work unless you blow bubbles. And he was like, okay, got it, blow bubbles. Oh man, I swear, I think I overtaught these kids. No, because I'm a huge, like, nerd when it comes to physics. So when kids start annoying me and, like, they'll be like, oh, why can't I do this? I just want to put my head underwater and I keep getting water in my nose. I'm like, well, there's gravity, you know? And then they'll be like, and it's funny because these kids actually remember. They'll be like, oh, so it's gravity, so I shouldn't do it. I'm like, oh, so proud. All right, anyways. So why would Twitch not work? So we have Twitch. And the problem here is the management. And then we have streamers. Ugh. Streamers, management, and then we have the consumers. I'm gonna put this as one big consumer. Okay, so the reason why this is not gonna work is because Twitch has a lot of management. Does that kind of make sense? You don't really need management here. Like, what are you gonna manage? Like, force these sellers to do all crazy shit? Like, no, that's not gonna work. So, we have Twitch, and we have a bunch of different management. And the reason why it's different from Google is because... Okay, so Google has this, right? And then it's got smaller companies like this. I don't need to go to class. My dad was a director. I rubs up on me. So then, and then you have the management for them, which is this. Right? And then you pretty much have like all these people that just have no idea what the fuck any of them are doing unless their manager tells them to do. So can you kind of see how this works? There is... So here you go. So the investors are on top, and then the alphabet has the CEOs, and then you have individuals, right? And in each one of these, in each one of these you have individuals. Do you see this now? So every single one of these, you have another system like this. That's where all these little dashy comes from. And then all of these are the employees. So can you see how this is pretty fail-safe? Does that kind of make sense? Because there's so many people involved every single time. And then you have Twitch. Your investors, managers, CEOs, and then you have department. Is that gonna make sense? There's investors, CEOs, they're all in one thing because there's no differences in this. Like, does that kind of make sense? So it's like the investors are part of here and this and this and this, and then it's just like one big fucking mess. You know what I mean? And then it's not really checks and balance. It's more of, this is just to limit liability. Like, say if one of these companies fuck up, like, that's it. There's still like a bunch of other things that can back it up. You know what I mean? But if one of these departments fail, like, if this person fucks up, like, and the reason why I use that example is You have one manager fuck up and then not gives the same thing to every single streamer, so then people get really fucking frustrated, and then your viewers are like, bro, what the fuck just happened? And then it's like booby streamers, and then your shit's just fucked. Does that kind of make sense? So now everybody's fucking confused, and nobody knows what the fuck they're doing anymore. And you don't really have another company to fall back on because this is your company. So yeah, you guys are pretty fucked. That's probably why Amazon did not even want to pay $1 billion for your company. Because they saw this and they're like, yeah, no. No. Yeah, no. Your structure's already wrong. Your managers are, I don't even, like, no. Like, these aren't even the same thing. And like, for Amazon, they don't even need a leadership, honestly. They just need a platform. So, no, the reason why Amazon is successful is because they're not so cheap. No, that's why Alibaba is successful. Because people do want it cheap. Or else they won't buy it. That's why a lot of Amazon sellers, they go a lot of days without selling anything at all because nobody wants to buy their stuff. So, yeah. I do a lot of research. Not just me pulling shit out my ass. I actually do research. I just do it really fast. So I actually really like doing research papers. No, that's why I procrastinate. Thank you very much. Anyways, don't do that, guys. You'll end up not sleeping, and then by the time you don't double check, and then all your words end up looking like my tweets. And I know you guys have a grand old time with my tweets, so don't be like my tweets there. Anyways, no, it's always like, see, that's the thing about having real friends or like people who truly support you, you know, like it's not that you guys are being toxic to me. It's kind of like you guys being very honest about like, this makes no fucking sense, Christine. Like, we've read it about 5 times and it still makes no fucking sense. Like, you're not insulting me, you're not harassing me. It's just kind of like, well, if you want us to understand, you kind of have to, you know. So like, just okay, if you guys never told me my tweets literally looks like shit, you really think my grammar would improve? Probably not, right? I'll probably end up sounding dumber and dumber and like so it's okay, guys, please let me know because I'm always willing to make changes. But thank you and goodbye, and that's it. I'm gonna go watch some, I don't remember what I was gonna watch. My short-term memory is very bad. Long-term is not the best, but ooh, they're already playing. Alright, see you later. Thank you, bye. Okay, my mouth moves faster than my hands, so hold on. Thank you and go.